Welcome to Guzzlr.
So, hello and welcome to the Guzzlr podcast. This is episode 57. Are you happy to be here?
I was expecting that question. No,
Yeah, good.
I'm very happy.
Normally
to be
we
here.
ask how you are, but I just wanted to know if you're happy to be here.
I'm happy to be here.
Hey,
Here.
nothing good on telly.
No.
Is it not?
No.
Alright.
I recorded Bake Off actually. You could have watched that.
Did you?
Fair enough. That's a good point. Can you all go?
Yeah. They can watch us watch Bake. Gogglebox?
Nice.
They're on those that go what?
Yeah.
Guzzlr box.
Guzzlebox.
Goes the box.
It writes itself. So today... I was waiting for him to say something to me, but he just, he realised he can't read. Today we're doing a sequel. We don't do many sequels. Do we do any sequels? We did an Ig Nobel. He's doing his news 800 million episodes.
Conspiracies.
I did
But
the
Conspiracies
animals.
was a very delayed sequel. I think it was more of a reboot.
Yeah,
We didn't really
reboot.
remember what we spoke about, did we? So it was like Conspiracies Take 2.
It was like,
Do you know what I mean?
it should have been called The Conspiracies, like Suicide
Yeah.
Squad and The Suicide
Yeah,
Squad.
that's a good idea.
Yeah.
actually.
I did the animal series.
Do you know what I mean?
I
forgot that for a reason.
That was a franchise. That was a proper franchise.
So we're going to continue talking about things from this book, which is Fake Law by the Secret Barista. And last time we spoke about, which is a better episode than this one, just go watch that.
Guzzlr podcast.
It was about, what was it about? You tell me.
Guy made some coffee.
Guy murdered some coffee.
No, made some coffee.
Oh, guy made some
But
coffee.
we did agree that he was a criminal barista.
Right.
So he robbed some banks and stuff, didn't
Yeah. So basically you listened to the first 60 seconds of
Yeah.
the podcast.
he? No, it was
it's
about
still force, wasn't it? Brute force and stuff like that.
how people
Like,
don't really know what the law is and
Proportional,
proportional and
disproportional. That was
and
nice,
then
wasn't
the
it?
other one which was
And the government
grossly
can't keep
disproportionate.
Yes.
yeah.
So today we're going to be talking about Charlie Gard and Alfie Evans.
Yeah.
You heard of them?
I found this out
Yeah,
last.
they're,
I thought I knew exactly what this story was. I mean, we was chatting about it last night. Turns
I
out
told you, I edited
completely
last
wrong
week's podcast, the one about post-COVID Britain,
Mm.
and at the end you're like, I tell you what the episode's about, and you're
Yeah.
like, it's not though, is it? And I was like, yeah, it is.
Yeah,
You're like,
I
no,
was-
it's about eugenics, and I was like, not really, mate.
end. Yeah, I found out last night that I've got completely wrong end of the stick on this. And the stuff I'm going to talk about, it feels quite harsh.
I mean, honestly, this is quite harsh.
Yeah, yeah.
It was
fair
meant
enough,
to be seen as harsh.
Yeah.
Do you know much about it, Declan?
yeah, they're the two law cases where the parents want to keep him alive, weren't they? And the court said, nah.
Nah. Right. Yeah. Right. So I'm just going to go straight in because I've written a lot. First, what I'm going to do is present what the media said about all these cases, right? So what everyone knew, what was happening, all that sort of stuff, and then we can talk
Can we
about...
briefly
I-
say
I-
our
I know
sense
everything that
like,
happened.
to what it actually is, though?
What?
Without saying what the media, or are you just going like straight into it?
Yeah, but it would tell you what
Okay,
it's all
fine,
about.
I know
Yeah.
that. The BBC told me.
Right. Yeah, well, Fox
I
News,
know
are
everything
about,
that
Fox
happened,
News are about to tell you more,
Yeah.
mate. Don't you worry about that. So, Charlie Gard, this was in 2017. He had a disease called encephalomyopathic mitochondrial DNA depletion syndrome,
Oh, no, yeah.
or MDDS for short.
I thought you were going to say MDMA then, no.
MDDS, nice and catchy. He was admitted to hospital at 2 months old, and he was suffering from seizures, okay? He was dependent on a ventilator, he couldn't move his limbs, he couldn't open his eyes, there was no signs of usual brain activity, no responsiveness, no crying. Right, he couldn't do
Yeah,
anything, basically. He had no functions whatsoever, right? Which isn't a great place to start,
No,
right? This
no.
is the start.
Yeah,
So a court order was drawn to remove ventilation. The court said, we're going to remove ventilation from this child. Now, just immediately, does that feel right?
No, because someone's telling you what you can do with your child, isn't it? Sounds very sort of like,
No,
don't be racist here, but sort of like,
Racist?
I don't what I'm about to say. It seems like quite like something you get in like the Middle East and stuff like that. Like people demanding
Right,
what
yeah.
you do with your children or your family members.
No, because there's two ways of seeing it, isn't there?
Go on.
Like he's not going to live a life at all, really, is he? He's always going to be on some form
Yeah.
of healthcare.
But
Is that fair to...
No. But that's not what it was it? It was that you can make that decision. But if like Boris steps up and says, "Oh, Declan, you've got to turn off."
I know, I could see it from the parents' point of view. It's their child, but you've also got to look at it from outside as well.
And also, the child's not making the decision.
No, that's
So you're just saying the parents should be able to make
Yeah.
a decision.
Sure,
But
you
the
can't
only
make
the
a
only
decision
thing that's
on
giving
their
them any like agency over the child whatsoever is the fact that they gave birth to that child.
Yeah.
They have no qualification.
Well,
enough.
I'd
Do you know what I mean?
argue at
Like,
2 months old that he probably won't better make his own decision of whether to stay alive or not.
obviously not. Yeah.
But
Even in the
I'd
hospital,
argue
they should. I don't know how being attached to a ventilator works. In my head, it's like a tube or something. And he should
Yeah.
have 2 bowls, and he should crawl towards them. One if they live, one if they die.
He can't move his limbs.
And, oh yeah, shit. I'll keep thinking.
I just don't think that
Maybe
someone else
so
should tell you what
and
to
they
do.
drag him.
Yeah, but the thing is, that's the point though. But someone else telling who? The parents.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
But why should the parents have the right
Because
over the child?
until you're like 16 or whatever, you've got all responsibility of your children.
Yeah, but why?
Because you're not old enough to make your own decisions.
But like, what do they know about his condition and his medical condition?
No, because I'm assuming that they're in the hospital a lot and they're saying...
I'm not disagreeing with you, just to clarify. I'm trying to get you
I'm
to
assuming the
explain.
hospital's saying...
I'm neutral in this.
Are there people with this disease that live long lives?
No.
Then
He has a life expectancy of a couple months.
Like,
what's the point?
but no,
of
but
putting through the pain
I think he probably like that. If that decision is fine, I think the decision is fine. But I feel like the parents should have come to that decision themselves instead of the government saying you need to turn that off. Because if that means that they get an extra 2 months with that child and they're going to live out their days with that child's going to live out their days with parents, then surely that should be fine because they've earned that. That's their child. Why should someone in a power position say you've got to turn it off? You wouldn't just get like a mechanic.
Like
down
they're the ones with it on, right?
What do you mean?
Like the state are the ones providing that child.
If the hospital are fine with keeping it on, then should be an issue.
The hospital applied to have it removed.
Balls.
But I get what you mean. I don't disagree with you. So
I just don't think like if a mechanic turned up to the hospital and was like, oh, you should probably turn that off. You would be like, fair enough, you know what you're on about.
I'm about to make it a lot more complicated. So it was claimed that there was an alternative treatment.
Right.
There was a pioneering treatment available in the US. Okay, a doctor came forward.
Oh, I remember
He
this.
said he would happily take Charlie
Yeah.
to the US and he would treat Charlie for this disease. So now it's more complicated because not only is the child's life not great or whatever, but now someone has said we can take the child and we can help him.
Was there guaranteed success?
Well, at the moment, I'm going to tell you what the media have told people.
Right. Okay.
This is how I'm going about this. So, crowdfunding happened. They raised £1.2 million. The High Court still refused the argument, and they still said they're going to remove ventilation. They said we don't care, basically, right? Over the next few months, many appeals were made. Eventually, the appeals ended up at the European Court of Human Rights. They also said no, ventilation will be removed. So it's gone right to the most powerful courts in the world, basically, and they've said no.
And now, if I remember this correctly, you might.
No, please, mate. I like to know what you know. That's the point, isn't it? That's
The
whole point
parents
of
knew
it.
that there was a risk in sending them to America, but it was worth the risk, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, from the parents' perspective, yeah, 100%.
So if there's a doctor saying, I will try it, and the parents going, it might fail, but at least there's a chance instead of him just sitting there on ventilator where he's not actually going to do anything. Surely that should be, okay, we'll let the parents decide.
I can tell you right now that from every single person's perspective in this case, everybody respected the parents. Everybody understood why the parents had their view, including the courts. Every time they made a ruling, they said, we 100% understand why Charlie's parents are fighting for this. We get it. Because everyone understands.
What's their butt in it then?
I'll get to that.
Okay.
But you get what I mean? And
Yeah.
nobody ever said to the parents, you morons, or whatever. Everyone understands.
Suckers!
Everyone understands that
Yeah,
their
okay.
kids, like, dying,
Yeah.
basically. And they,
Okay.
like you said, they've spent all their time in the hospital.
Yeah.
They've seen Charlie. They
Yeah.
know what condition he's in.
Okay.
In 2017, the Vatican released a statement. I know this is when everyone gets involved. It's my favourite part. They said that they wish the parents' wishes won't be neglected by the governments. The Vatican, the Pope, literally the Pope, went, come on guys, the parents have said this. Trump tweeted, and he said he'd be absolutely delighted if he could help in any way. I don't know how.
Oh, yeah. Put bleach inside whatever he said during COVID. Yeah.
The Vatican's hospital offered to take Charlie in themselves. They said, we'll take him.
Just give him a chance there, I think.
Fox News said that Charlie had been sentenced to death by the British government.
Oh, I like that. That's spicy.
American statesmen said that European bureaucrats had made the callous decision that Charlie's life was not cost effective. People are getting in.
Yeah.
Fox News said that the NHS is always looking for ways to cut costs.
Jesus.
They argued that the UK was teetering on the precipice of a full embrace of eugenics. And then protesters stormed Great Ormond Street Hospital. They stormed the hospital. They went up to a lot of patients, like very critically ill patients and their families, and were like signing this petition and stuff, and they were removed by the police forcefully. On the 28th of July, Charlie passed away in hospital because he had ventilation removed.
So
It's quite a nice, uplifting episode, isn't it?
I think,
wanna cry.
you know, with everyone getting involved, I think they should have gone, you know what, they accept the fact that it might well fail.
Right.
Let's just give it a go anyway.
Right.
I just
Okay.
don't know. I just don't know why on earth that would ever be a debate.
Okay.
If they go, it's gonna, you know, it's gonna fail, or you don't know, but there's a chance it's gonna fail, and everyone's respecting that, then.
Well, that was pretty
just do
much all the UK media ever said about the case, was what
Yeah.
I've just told you.
See, I agree with you, but I know full well that he's got a spanner
Yeah,
that he's
it's
just
just-
about
yeah.
to throw in the works.
Yeah. And I think there's a lot of points I thought of during that.
And you must take on all the information before one makes one's decision.
Yeah. Yes.
So the point of this
Currently.
episode is that, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
That that's all people knew.
Yeah.
And when I finished the book, I typed in Charlie Gard on Twitter
Mm.
just to see when he's brought up.
Yeah.
He's only ever brought up when people want to highlight the fact that the courts don't care about you
Mm.
and they don't care about your children's rights. People will be like, if you really think the courts care about you, just Google Charlie Gard. That's when people bring it up. It's also worth pointing out very briefly, this has nothing to do with the government at all.
Okay.
Everybody kept saying the government have done this. The government. Don't get me wrong, I know we slag off the government a lot. This is to do with the courts. This has nothing to do with the government at any point during this.
Right.
I'm not saying they couldn't get involved or whatever, but they never made
Some
the
did.
decision. Yeah, you just tweeted like.
Yeah.
But the point is, people say, "Oh, the government totalitarian. The government are children
Yeah.
or kids." It's nothing to do with the government at all.
So
The High Court's
High
made
power.
these decisions based off of the law.
it still feels weird that we're just telling people to do something that, like, I don't know.
I know.
It feels like we're.
You
like,
say it feels wrong.
Yeah. That if that was, even if the High Court are going, look, we understand what the family are going through.
Yeah.
I just can't help think that if it was in their position, they'd also be going, but please just let me do it. And someone else is telling you no.
I don't
I-
disagree
I
with
just-
you at all.
And also, like they said, oh, it's only going to be alive for like 3 more months. We'll just keep it on then. Just like we're putting money
Yeah,
like
but who's that serving?
the parents.
No, it's not serving the kid though, is it? And that's the person whose rights are in debate here. Because he's going to still have to live, and I would assume the condition's painful. I would assume that they've shot him up with morphine or some other painkiller. That's not fair to him.
So then, what about if you got like a 25-year-old in the same state? Should we just unplug them?
It's up to them at that point.
If
If
it,
they can make the decision in some way.
when they can't make the decision, does the nurse just come along and go?
That would probably be up. I don't know.
That's the thing. isn't
no,
it?
no, it's up to a family member.
That would be up to a family member,
So-
I think.
Why is this different then?
Because that's an adult.
Right.
Right, let's talk about that now. Let's talk about when it comes to children, who has the right to decide what's best for
Okay.
them. So, prior to the 18th century, father was king.
Okay.
If you were married, the dad decided anything to do with the kid, basically. The father had complete power. If they were unmarried, then obviously the mother, because that's the only parent they've got.
Yeah.
If they had no kids, then the state or whatever could get involved, called like wardship or whatever, right? It was then decided at the end of the 18th century that the child should have their own vested interest. They should have their own rights. They should have their own, whatever was right for the child
Yeah.
should be what happened. And that's how we still function now.
Yeah.
Whatever is right for the child, independent of anyone else,
Mhm.
is what happens for that child now. So it now says that what's best for the child is now considered the consideration, not a consideration. So it used to be taken into account, but now it is just, is this best for that child? Right?
Okay.
So what it's saying is that ideally a children can invest their own interests, although the court can still go against that, but in most cases children can't, right? But if they do say something, their age, everything will be taken into consideration, right? I'll give you an example. In 1993, a 15-year-old leukemia patient
Mhm.
was offered life-saving blood transfusion to save his life. He said no,
Okay.
because he was a Jehovah's Witness.
Okay.
The government said, no, you're a
Mhm.
child, this is not in your best interests, and they gave him the transfusion anyway.
It's very
Because he was a
murky
child.
waters.
But they've saved his life.
Yeah, but he didn't want to.
He's a child.
Okay.
So, like, to what extent
So
does he...
if this 2-month-old, theoretically,
yes.
obviously theoretically, could talk and he said,
Yes.
keep me alive, would they?
I think that would be a difficult one, because that would be... They'd have to take that into consideration over the child's...
State he's in.
condition of life. If the child
Okay.
can talk and clearly say that, they
So-
probably have a better condition of life than he had. So I think that's a different
Do you
scenario.
persuade them or do you just go ahead and do it? For example, this is dark, this is real dark. You got a 15-year-old and saying, I want to kill myself.
Yeah.
Do you go, Alright, fair enough. Or do you go, no, you want to live? No, I just want to go off to whatever it's called in Sweden. I want to die.
Euthanasia.
I was trying to think the company's name, euthanasia. Go, yeah, I'm going to do that. No, you don't, because, life's actually right, like, don't actually think of the darkness, and like, do you know what death means, etc., etc. And they go, no, I want to do that. Do you just go,
They've stopped the child doing that.
Why though? They want to die.
They're a child.
So they want to die.
So
it doesn't matter. It's not for their best. It's not in their best interest.
But it is if they don't want to live anymore, right?
No, because with the right care and stuff, I would argue that anybody could be brought back from that, right?
So if with all the right care could be him, that Charlie guy going off to America for someone to work on him, right?
no, because it's an incurable.
No, but someone said that he will happily
Well,
work.
we'll talk about that
They
Okay.
in a minute.
He said he could treat him. He
But,
didn't say
no,
cure him.
fine, no, you're right. But currently, without knowing any further information, he has said, "I will work on him."
Yeah, which
and
is
I will
why
try.
people believed. This is what I'm saying. People believed that,
Okay.
that he should be saved. I'm not
Okay.
disputing that. But you'll work out later that
Okay.
if he actually could be saved, they would have
Right.
let him be saved. Like, anyway, I'm making it a lot sadder now.
Excellent.
So they saved that Jehovah's Witness's life because they said it's in your best interest that you have the thing.
Yeah.
A couple of years later, he got leukemia again,
Right.
but he was an adult now and he died. He refused treatment, and they were like, "Fair enough, you're an adult," and they let him pass away.
That's right.
But he had the same views as like 2
But
years
he's
earlier.
an adult at that point. He's allowed to have his own opinion. Do you know what I mean?
But so in some circumstances, we're saying, children can have their own views unless we don't want them to have that view.
If it's
No,
going to
they're
end their
allowed to have
life,
their own views.
Unless it's
but
gonna end
they're
their
not
lives.
allowed
So
to decide.
2 months before they're 18, he goes, "I want to die." No,
yeah, but there has to be an age somewhere where there's that line.
so 2 months later, he gets.
I know
it.
lines like that always feel weird, right?
But then this also brings up the debate about Shemema Begum, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it's all to do with
Yeah, I do
just
agree
the
with that.
age of children and what
It's such a
yeah.
massive grey line.
Yeah, it is.
But at the end of the day, when the leukemia patient was a child, he didn't have the legal right, and it is the legal right, to decide that fate there and then.
Yeah.
That's why the government had the legal right to decide what happened to him. And when he became an adult, he gained that autonomy, he gained that legal right for himself, and then he could decide, and he died.
And he died. The law was upheld at every single stage of that. And also, like, it's very easy to argue and be like, "Oh, he wanted this, he wanted that," right? Or the parents wanted this, parents wanted that. Listen to this one. In 2019, a 13-month-old girl was dying of liver failure, yeah?
Right.
Her parents refused life-saving treatment because they wanted her to be treated just by the power of prayer.
No,
Okay.
then you've got to intervene.
Do you think the government should leave that alone as well?
Yeah.
Really?
Because it.
But prayer doesn't work. We know prayer
Yeah,
doesn't work.
but like that's.
And that's a 13-month-old child. Why should her parents decide that she has the right to die just because they're
No, that's not
religious? But that 13-month-old should be allowed to live.
No, yeah, you're right. Okay, I take that back.
Do you know what I
Okay,
mean?
so what if they were 15 and even the child was like, "Nah, prayer." Surely you should respect that because that's their religion, that's their views.
I don't think so. No. They're 15. They should have
Because
their
they're under
lives
the age
saved.
of 18.
And the only reason they're making that decision, you could argue, is because of the way they were raised,
Yeah,
their
no,
environment,
yeah, no,
their
that's true,
parents
yeah.
have
The thing
influenced this
is,
sort of...
if you argue against the fact that they're 15 and they're close to an adult, it then creates an unstandardised legal system where it's one case for one and one case for another.
It's equity,
And
not equality, though, right?
And even though we're in a common law system and it does differ from case to case, on these issues you want it to be as standardised as humanly possible so people aren't getting preferential treatment.
It is difficult. I don't disagree with you. Like, it is hard.
I understand.
But you have to define these rules and you have to be abided by. Because if there's no consistency...
So in every Jehovah's Witness case, then when they say your child needs a blood transfusion,
Is their child?
yeah.
Because it's not in the child's best interests to die. Because obviously it's never in someone's best interest
So
to
really,
die.
every time you hear these stories about Jehovah's Witnesses won't give their children blood because of their Jehovah's Witness, that's all just crap then. Because we as a state will do it.
They'll step
Yeah,
in.
but sometimes they might not have blood and the parents might refuse and the child will die anyway. That happens sometimes.
Okay.
They don't always have blood or the right blood.
Right.
Do you know
So
what I mean?
Or enough of it.
I've basically done a Jehovah's Witness is a myth just now. Really?
Why?
It's
No,
like-
they exist.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
he
but-
died because he was a Jehovah's
Yeah,
Witness
yeah,
at the
but I'm
end.
saying, like,
And
children.
often, in most cases, the parents will just go, well, it is our religion, but this is the best interest of the child, and they will just allow it.
When people slag off child witnesses and go, "Oh, they don't give blood to their children," that's disgusting. Yeah, well, someone's going to do it because apparently adults don't have any control of their children these days.
As they shouldn't, because you're not a trained medical. You think you should just be allowed to let your kid die?
No,
because you're the parent.
I'm not saying I agree with them doing that, but I just think that I don't know. You should let religion or someone's faith in science or religion play a part in it.
I don't know. I completely disagree.
I disagree as well.
Right.
Because religion isn't proven.
I didn't say religion. I said religion or science.
Oh, yeah, but science is.
Okay.
But they know they can save that girl's life.
Yeah.
Well, they know that boy can live for a fact.
Yeah.
They were told.
But we also know prayer doesn't work.
If we do this treatment, your child will live. If you use the power of prayer, they might by some absolute miracle, but miracles don't really exist, do they? It's like 0.00001% of cases.
And prayer doesn't help that either. It is just could happen.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You're going to pray for it to go away?
That's what actually got me. I think that I wasn't sticking up for prayer, so it struck me. I'm so sorry.
But it's difficult, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
And like the illnesses for some reason play a part as well.
But let's just think, right? If I agreed with both of you on this podcast, we'd have been done 15 minutes ago. So.
Yeah, no, it's true. That is true. And your opinion is one that a lot of people have, so it's good for you to voice it. To be fair,
It's not right, but it's what they have.
Another point to make is that sometimes this goes the other way, and it's very easy for us to look at it and be like, "Oh, that's ridiculous," right? So sometimes parents argue against treatments for their kids because they say, "No, their quality of life won't be good enough." That happens sometimes.
That can make sense.
And then the state have to go, I'll give you one in a second, and then the state have to go, no, this is like really good treatment, your child will be fine. Right?
Mm.
So for an example, and this is going to sound mental because it's from the 80s, a woman, her child had Down syndrome, but they also had another disease or whatever, and they were like, we can cure your child. And she's like, yeah, but my child has Down syndrome, so why would we save him? If we save him, he's still going to have to live with Down syndrome. He's not going to have any good life or quality of life.
Right.
And the state had to say, no, people with Down syndrome can live very full, fulfilling lives. We should save this child.
Then why do you get like things now where you can get a scan to see if your child's got Down syndrome, and then you can like, abort it before it's born. You can abort it before it's born because it's got Down syndrome.
It increases your chances of miscarriages, though, doesn't it?
But also you can also just abort it before it's born because you know it's got Down syndrome.
You can.
Yeah. But that's a very different, complicated moral debate, though, isn't it?
Mm.
Oh no, I'm not
like this child's already alive. This is a child who is.
I'm not talking about abortion in general. I'm just saying.
No, I know, I understand.
Because the point is, he's got Down syndrome. He can still live a great life. So why can we literally just get like a letter through in the post? I don't know if it works like that. You get a letter through in the post. Like, your child's got Down syndrome. We go, all right.
But you think there's a difference between allowing this child who's already alive and can function to die?
Yeah, no, yeah, I do agree with that as well. Yeah.
So yeah, sometimes it goes both ways basically, and someone has to make the horrible decision of whether they should live or die, basically.
We should have someone who sits on like a throne in like, I don't know, Southern Italy, and then people go to him and go, "Sir, there's this story," and he's just like the Grim Reaper, he dresses in a black cloak, and he just goes, "Shall die," and you go, oh, "Okay."
This is just the Roman Empire.
Yeah, and I think that's how it probably should work. There's one man, and people go to him, and he just goes, "You shall die," and it should be down to one man.
Is it you?
I can wear a black cloak.
I don't. Based off anything you said, I don't trust you. Power of prayer. Yeah. No worries, mate. Not a problem. Let the kid die. Next. Not a problem at all.
But that's where it's slightly different because I would say, use your power of prayer, and then come back a week later and go, he died, and I go,
it's your own fault,
prayer doesn't always work for all of us, but you tried, and you know now that it wasn't meant for him, and that he's better now, and the family will go, you know what, that is exactly right because I believe in that.
All right, let's talk about Charlie again. So you've said that if this treatment exists, he should be allowed to go and have it.
But
right?
because I know something's coming, I picture a doctor who's a bit like Joe Exotic, like
honestly,
it's just gonna be like,
you're not far off. So it's worth pointing out that Charlie's parents, they said right at the start when they saw him in his current state that his life wasn't worth sustaining.
Okay.
So they did accept that the quality of life he had without this US treatment, without talking about any of that, they actually accepted as well, because I know you said parents should have the right and stuff.
Yeah.
They accepted that quality of life was not worth sustaining.
Okay.
He had no quality of life. He was just, basically, right? So that's worth pointing out because that helps calm you down a little bit. So the hospital ruled that his ventilation should be removed. Already said that, and they said he should be allowed to pass away peacefully and with dignity.
Okay.
Basically, instead of all the ensuing chaos and mayhem and all the fight about his life, he should be able to just pass away peacefully and with dignity.
Yeah.
So then the issue was raised about whether he could be flown to the US for life support and all that sort of stuff. In making the decision, the High Court spent several days watching presentation by all the world's leading experts on the condition.
Right.
They spent literally days. Every single person who knew anything about the condition came and gave a presentation and said, "What?"
I wasn't invited.
And
you
said
everyone.
Everyone,
who knew.
yeah.
And I was just shocked.
How a prayer!
I was just shocked. I was
Pathetic
advised.
prayer.
Fine.
Slide 1. What is prayer? Prayer is...
I will now read you the Bible. So, yeah, basically they got a lot of experts. They listened to their cases. They listened to whether they thought he could be saved. Now, the doctor comes in. Oh, I love him. He came in with pioneering treatment in the US. Yeah, I didn't write down his name because he doesn't deserve to have his name written down. It turns out that the treatment had never been used on someone with Charlie's condition, ever.
Right.
And the treatment hadn't even reached the experimental stage on mice. Like, it had never, ever been used in any scenario. It had never been used anywhere on anything, basically.
Want to change your mind now?
Yeah, probably.
But the doctor still said to Charlie's parents, like, I'll give it a go.
Yeah.
Genuinely,
Yeah.
he was like, yeah, we'll try it. Like, I'll have a go. And even he said that it could probably extend Charlie's life by about 4%. His lifespan. About 4% increase in his lifespan, right? Now, here's where we talk about how hospitals and stuff do everything they can for the children. The hospital agreed originally. They said, fine. Because the mum said, I want this to happen. They were like, fine. If you want it to happen, we will send him to the US. We will try this treatment, if that's your wishes. But when they were getting that process in place, Charlie had a lot of seizures, and he had irreversible brain damage while they were preparing that movement, okay? So his quality of life went down a lot more, right? It then was revealed that when the doctor extended the offer to treat Charlie, he'd never actually seen Charlie's medical notes. And then after he saw Charlie's medical notes, he said, I agree it's very unlikely that his condition can be improved. Every doctor consulted agreed that the treatment would be futile and that it was very likely that the treatment would cause Charlie pain, suffering and distress. So the judges then ruled that his ventilation should be removed.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But nobody ever talks about that.
Interestingly, though,
Nobody ever mentions the fact that the doctor pretty much had no idea what he was offering.
Interesting. When that happened, when they found out all that, did the parents then go, "Okay, yeah, fair enough, all right," or till the very last second, were they still begging for it to stay on?
Eventually, the parents kind of did come to the same conclusion, but they still were against.
I think that's just sort of the fact that you don't want to lose your child, isn't it?
Exactly,
Like,
which is what the judge said in his ruling.
Yeah.
The judge said in his ruling at the end that he had a lot of respect for Charlie's fine parents, and he accepts that they had nothing to do with all of the abuse thrown at medical staff. And he said he absolutely cannot imagine going through what they've been through.
Because I think horrible decision for him to make as well.
This is what I'm saying. Everyone at every stage respected the parents.
Yeah.
You completely get why the parents want this.
Imagine being a judge and going, "Yeah, your 2-month-old son. Yeah, we're going to kill him."
Exactly.
Yeah.
No matter who comes to you and says, "I think I have treatment that can save your child," you're going to believe that.
Yeah.
So you can see why the parents. But that's why parents shouldn't have sole power because they're not in a state, and rightfully so.
Yeah.
They're not in a state to make that decision.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you agree?
I think that I'm better now knowing the fact that, or peace of mind knowing that eventually the parents were like, alright, fair enough. Like,
What if they weren't? What if they were still like screaming?
I would-
Please
I
don't
would-
kill our child.
I would also now agree. Now I've heard everything, but it would just be unnerving to know why they're doing that. They're banging.
Yeah, it's
the door.
horrible.
That's horrible.
There's
Thought.
a
I never
bit of
disagree.
debate.
No. But like, it was still playing my mind, going, "Oh, really? Like, can we do? Let's do something for them. Let's do something." But now knowing that like, the parents were like, "Okay, fair enough," I think that just gives you peace of mind more, doesn't it? It does give you peace of mind more because, like, I think
At least they're at peace with the decision.
yeah, because I think if they're banging at the door, I have still got a bit of me going, well, not that doctor, but let's find someone. Let's find literally someone. Let's just like throw money at this child to keep him alive because no one should die. So knowing the fact that, you know, that at least they were like, okay.
But I just think that like so many people in this case come across exploitative and disgusting
Yeah.
and vile. Like that doctor who claimed he had pioneering treatment and he could save Charlie and stuff. He must have known, surely, that he was playing at victims and trying to like. Oh, what did he want from
He was a bit of a cowboy.
Yeah. What did he want?
Yeah.
Did he want? Or maybe he did want to try and get the
Publicity.
claim and stuff. But I don't
Yeah.
believe at any point in that he cared about Charlie. I don't think at any point he gave a shit
No.
about
No.
that child. Whereas I'd argue the state did. I'd argue the
Yeah.
courts did care.
Yeah.
It just comes across quite callous and cold-hearted and
Yeah.
stuff because it's a kid dying.
It's the
It's
state.
going to come
It's,
across
it's
like
because
that.
they've got no attachment to that child. The problem is they've got no attachment to that child.
Which
They
is the
don't know
good
that
thing,
child.
but also the thing that makes it seem
that it
quite...
just looks like
Yeah,
there's people on the outside going.
But
"Your
it
child
is
just
also what
died."
you need, isn't it?
It is, but it's the idea that just
It's
like
an objective view.
Which is
where you
what
can't
is
be
necessary,
objective.
detached
Like,
from the
I
emotion.
feel like if
and-
I knew law though, and people just walked in this room, us three now, was like, "Oh, explain the situation to me," I still feel we're going.
And again, though,
Like-
like...
I don't think it's meant to feel normal though. I doubt the judge
No.
felt normal when
No,
he
no,
gave
and it
the
might still
decision.
change mine now, ain't it? You know.
The... Oh,
I doubt they've got for beers together. You know what I mean? Like,
I can't remember which one he was also the case on. The one who did the 13-month-old
yeah.
and the power of prayer and stuff was the judge on, I think, the Alfie Evans one?
Okay.
Or the Charlie... He was the judge on one of those as well.
Right.
So in fairness, he does also go the other way.
Maybe he specialises in.
Probably, yeah. But like he does both. Do you know what I mean? He
Yeah.
also does the no, we have to save this child. He also does.
Get
Yeah,
to law
but you
school.
could.
You imagine getting to law school and being
Yeah,
like, "I want your
yeah,
special,
yeah.
just child death, please."
But I guess
That's
from
really
his
weird.
perspective, he could
it's,
argue in every
it's
single
agency,
one.
innit?
But I thought,
It's
Yeah,
the power of
yeah.
agency.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
wouldn't
yeah.
just be children, it'd be like families who want agency over.
Or probably like
I find it weird
care
when, like,
and stuff
yeah,
like that. Yeah.
like you're at uni, right?
Yeah.
And there's a lad you know. He's a bit sleazy, a bit creepy, and he's doing medical course.
Jesus.
And you see him 4 years later, and you go,
At the High Court.
yeah, no.
Oh,
Like,
right,
and you go,
okay.
so what do you like specialise in as a doctor? Like, in your mind going, he's real sleazy, real weird, but he's like, I'm a gynaecologist. Like,
Right.
it's just a bit weird.
That is weird, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how it's related, but it is
I
weird.
think it's a bit weird. Like, you know someone who's then
Yeah,
going,
yeah.
child death, I do. That's
No, but for every
I just tell
single
parents
case,
their kids are going to die.
he can just tell himself that he's done what he believes is right for that child, right?
What
So surely even in
but
this
again,
case,
but
not
when you
just
word
him,
it- and again,
everybody.
Yeah.
He's not
That's the
coming
thing.
at the decision
Because when you-
blind.
He's done what is right by that
Because
child.
when you word it like that,
And yeah, not blind. There were
No.
days
Yeah,
of
yeah.
Yeah.
consultation.
but when you word it like that, what he how
I'll bet-
did you just
Well,
word
yeah, what he
I'll
thought
bet
was
in a
right.
he
lot
thought
of
was
the
right.
cases, he doesn't make the ultimate decision. Someone tells him, like one
Yeah.
of the experts.
Also, it went for a lot of other courts and they all came to the same
But
conclusion.
do you not find it weird that like there is just a judge who
can end your child's life.
there's a judge at the end of all these things, just a man or woman who just goes, yep.
I guess so.
It's like they're the ones that what they call
It
like
does
the
seem odd,
the
but
hangman almost, like they're the ones
Again,
who are passing the thing.
It's not meant to seem normal.
No, it's not. I
And
just
if
find it
was
very
normal,
weird.
what sort of state are we living in that
Yeah,
children
no,
are coming out in these
Mm.
really dire diseases? And
Yeah, you're right.
So
I find it
again,
really weird.
that book. It's an interesting book.
Yeah.
Alfie Evans, I've only written down the bad stuff. I haven't written down why it was the right decision because I got
Oh.
all to writing. But I can explain roughly. But all I'm saying is there's a precursor to this one. I may say some stuff wrong. Read the book or Google it. So he was admitted to hospital in 2016. He had a mitochondrial disease. It was fatal and untreatable. He could not breathe or swallow, and it was judged that he had a very, very poor quality of life. Again, a facility in Rome offered to take him in, but the High Court judged that he should instead have his life support removed. The family's local MEP said that the hospital was more concerned with saving face than saving his life. There's a lot of like catchphrases being
Yeah.
thrown around. That bothers me. The Pope took interest again. He's apparently quite a year for him. Again, 200 protesters attempted to storm the hospital, but they were stopped by police before they got in this time.
That's good. The thing with protests is that most of them don't actually care about what they're protesting about, and it's
The
just
thing
like
is,
the idea
again-
of going
for the protest.
Again, like the
Yeah.
protest, it's a difficult one because it does come from a good place. You get what, but also they know nothing about it
but also most of
at
the time
all. They know
it's-
nothing
we're
about
gonna
most
it.
of
talk
the
about
time it's like
protesting,
3 or
right?
4.
Yeah, I know.
Most of the time it's 3 or 4 protesters. The others are just like people who just like most of the Brixton riots and stuff like that. Just people going, love it at last, smash up some shops. Basically, what happens?
In this case, quite interestingly, that Alfie's father initiated a private prosecution against 3 of his doctors, and the question was asked whether they could face a trial for conspiracy to murder. So he actually tried to get the doctors done for murdering his child.
And is that not just because you just feel like you've got to do something in your heart.
100%.
That's what it is, isn't it?
Nigel Farage, my favourite.
Fair enough.
My favourite thing in this book is that he says occasional UKIP leader Nigel Farage,
Occasional UKIP leader.
which is an amazing little dig, said that Alfie was a hostage of the NHS and that they didn't want to risk Alfie receiving successful treatment because it would be embarrassing for them. He passed away on the 28th of April. Now, on Facebook, one of his relatives said, and this is a sad quote, "What a sad world we live in, where judges merely look at legal arguments instead of into the eyes of the baby that they have the power to save."
Jesus.
Which is really, really sad.
Again,
That's true.
They don't like making that decision.
No, but it is that.
Exactly.
It is the weird thing of just like written in this book here. It says in law we should do this. So sod the child. I know it's not as easy as that.
I think they
It's not as
care
easy as
about
that,
the
I know,
child
but it's just-
massively, right? I hate people like Farage and stuff leveraging this sort of thing for sort of political, like I said a minute ago, like catchphrases and snapshots and like quotes. Because it's quite a powerful quote being
but
like...
it's political leverage, it's popularity contest.
This is what I mean.
So they use it all the time
But-
in everything.
I doubt he cares.
Yeah, no,
He knows if he goes on the news and says the NHS cares more about saving money than a child's life,
Yeah,
that's a really good slogan.
He's going to get.
He's called
someone
out.
It's
going,
incredibly
he's right, I'm gonna
provocative.
vote for
Exactly.
He's called
It's
out the
political
government.
leverage.
He's called out whoever's in. That's what all politicians do, isn't it? Like every time Boris says something, Keir Starmer comes on and goes, that's not a good thing. What should we do instead, Keir? Well, that's a bad thing, isn't it?
It's because...
So you don't know. There's no solution to it. Just you got to say
But that's
that
the
it's
thing,
wrong.
for very, very quickly dip into politics. From their perspective, and this is the problem with like a system where you vote and you make decisions based off of very quick snapshots of people, it's way better for them to do that.
Yeah.
To make these snapshot things, no context, no actual policy, nothing.
No.
They don't need to go in depth. People don't care about your
It's just
depth.
popularity.
People
contest,
care
isn't
about
it?
snapshots and keywords that they agree with.
They care
and
about
emotion.
the headline in the Sun.
Yeah,
without
an
reading
emotive
the article.
phrase like that is way more powerful than, I've got this policy which is going to do this. No one cares.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So I think a lot of people are disgusted in this case. I can't quite remember the specifics of his case, I forgot. But basically it turned out that, again, really, really poor quality of life. The treatment didn't really exist. It wasn't really there. And then in this one, there's a guy involved. He was really young. He was at law school. He wasn't even a lawyer. But somehow he ended up being their lawyer.
Right.
And he just kept making up laws just constantly. And he just kept applying all these laws and all these cases and stuff. And the judge was like, what are you on? Like, none of this is real. But apparently the guy was really intelligent. And the judge said to him, I don't know how you've become this misguided. If you weren't, you could have been a very, very good lawyer.
So the family just blames the lawyer then instead.
But like, he just basically just went mental. And he was just, trying to sue him for murder, trying to sue him for like prisoners and basically just mental stuff.
Nutcase.
Pretty much, yeah.
So I also talk about euthanasia now, but it seems totally wrong of me to do so. So I'm going to save it
Oh, please.
for another time.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's something to look
Because
forward
it
to.
just
Love a good
feels
debate
like
on euthanasia.
just feels like.
Cool.
So-
Assisted suicide really gets me going.
So what I thought this case was about until you started, and then I did remember this case. I remember the argument about him going to America and stuff like that. But what I thought this case was about was that the parents said, we want to take him off life support,
Yeah.
and then people saying you can't do that, and it's the argument of like. But no, I also didn't think Charlie Gard was a 2-month-old. I thought he was like a 6-year-old, and the idea that could a parent take a child off of life support because they say that. I suppose we have covered that though, but the idea of just. Yeah, I was going to talk about the fact that is it right if a parent could end someone's life, but if, as a child, but people saying no, you can't. But we have pretty much covered that anyway.
We said they're a child.
Yeah.
Their best interest. So I'm not going to touch on that book anymore. I'm done with that book. I've already rinsed him for everything he's worth, the poor guy.
He done another great one, didn't he? About
Yes.
what
It's
was
about
it?
how the law's broken, basically. I think that one was just called The Secret Barista, but...
Yeah, the secret. Oh, that was literally his name, isn't it?
The next chapter's about compensation and compensation culture,
Right.
which the Daily Mail and stuff love to talk about
They do.
compensation culture, right?
Mm,
And
yeah.
he talks about a case where it's like child falls over and spills custard on their face, and they got £6,000, right?
Mm.
And the Daily Mail, that's disgusting. Why do we just dish out money, right?
Mm.
In that case, the child had burns and disfigurement that would be viewable from like this sort of distance,
Right.
and they got £6,000.
Mm.
If I said to you, you can have £6,000, but you're going to have marks on your face, visual
Yeah.
disfigurement from speaking distance, would you take that money?
No.
No.
I'd be fuming.
That's the
Yeah.
point he keeps making, though. every time it comes up, it'll be like someone got a lot of money. It'll be like someone got £100,000 or something. It might be a bit dramatic for like falling over and hurting their back or something. But when you look at the details of it, that person will never walk or move properly again. And he's like, would you take that money? No, of course you wouldn't.
Yeah.
But it's so easy for the media to be like, someone got this much money for this simple accident, without actually saying how much of an impact that's going to have on someone's life.
I'm really doing a lot of stuff about race at the moment because I work in sort of researching a lot about.
He's got to take a class.
And one thing that's really interesting.
Surprised me at all.
Too many points to the race.
All that power of prayer.
One of the things they said was about the idea of when you say something along the lines of, "Oh, I didn't mean it horribly," like, why are you upset about it? I didn't mean it horribly. I didn't mean to offend you. And there's a point of like,
I love the no offence.
Yeah. And why are you upset for? It was only a joke. I didn't mean it. Yeah. They said the idea of like, if I was sitting down and I just poured, I sort of slipped and poured boiling hot coffee over you, and you're screaming out in pain. Oh, you idiot! Oh, you absolute mug! And I'm going, what are you upset for? Like,
I didn't mean to do it.
I didn't mean to do it. Just get over yourself, mate. It was an accident. Like you're still going to be annoyed. Like. Whether I
it's like
instead of you going like I'm so sorry,
exactly,
like, I'm really
I didn't
sorry, I didn't
mean
mean
to
to.
Yeah, and you go in, I'm upset and annoyed, but I like you.
It was an accident.
Yeah,
fair enough.
Right.
It's like the analogy
I just
where
hit you.
you throw a plate at the floor and then you say sorry to it. The plate's still broken. You're not going to fix it just by saying sorry.
That's deep, bro.
That's horrible.
That is pretty deep, though.
Yeah, but what have we been talking about today? You think that's deep?
Yeah. I'm not even going to joke about it. Normally I joke about death, but this is just horrible. This is just. Even I'm on there.
Jesus.
Even I'm.
Right, let's talk about billing.
So what I've learned is, God forbid Louis' children ever have issues.
Yeah.
But if they do,
we're in charge.
we have to pray.
Yeah. God will.
We have to pray.
Forbid.
Night and day, me and Dec will pray.
Good.
Yeah?
It won't work.
Here's the thing, after all that,
Your child,
I'd be happy,
your child will die,
But we'll be praying.
If it did, I'd go.
I don't know who I'd pray to, but
we'll talk about it another day. I'll get you prepared.
right.
It's interesting today. Dec had beer.
I did. I've started to have it more. Again, I got this from work. It's from Neen Valley Brewery, which is very close. It's just outside Peterborough. This is called Pulping on Your Stereo, orange IPA brewed with fresh oranges. It says refreshingly zesty pale ale, packed with mandarina and citra, hops plus loads of fresh oranges. 4.5%. Really nice.
Does it actually say loads of fresh oranges?
Yeah, loads of fresh oranges.
That's just weird. What's loads?
Loads, mate.
Like
Tell them to
28?
quantify loads.
It was actually really
Was
nice.
it like orangey?
Yeah.
Because but a lot of the time when it goes like, pineapple beer,
It does, yeah.
But the
I like the
fact
idea that isn't with
Yeah.
loads of orange.
It reminds me of a beer by a brewery called Three Blind Mice, which is also local. It was called Citra and Sabro, and that was very orangey as well. It's very
funny
similar.
enough, I had a beer from Three Blind Mice the other day.
Yeah,
But it was
they're very
called
good. It's one guy
the
that
Snake or something, or Snakes something, Snake's Bite or something.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, it was. It was a session IPA. Yeah. What would you give it out of 5? You can do 0.25s now.
Cool.
Now you're a beer man.
I'd actually give it like a 3.
Where did you get it from?
3.25. I got it from work
Yeah.
because we get a lot of Neen Valley Brewery stuff in. So
This is one of my favourite breweries. This one is. We often have really
What
good
hops in this one?
Yeah, there's a lot of hops. Avans.
Avans. K-V-E-I-K.
That makes sense, doesn't it? I went Avans. You went Avans.
Creek Keeper.
So it's dry hopped with Citra, Sabro, Simcoe, Columbus, and Mosaic.
They're the hops in it.
It's a lot of hops, though, is what I'm saying.
Mm.
I've had beers of all these hops before, but normally they don't have.
Yeah,
That's a lot of hops.
They're usually by themselves or with another one slightly, but not like 5 hops.
Citra's very popular at the moment.
Yeah, it is.
Very
It is?
popular at the moment.
Yeah.
I thought it was really nice.
As well. I thought it was very nice. I'd give this
nice.
I'd give this
very, very popular.
4 out of 5.
Lovely.
I thought it
Really,
was
really
really
nice. I don't remember drinking it, that's how nice it was.
But-
It went down like
But
a tree.
Avans is
Like Nectar of the Gods, that.
Avans is
Right,
really, really good.
I'm going to next town.
Avans is really, really
Nectar
good.
of the Gods.
Really, really good. We often have it. It's really good. 5.5%.
Guy sanctions childhood death.
Brilliant.
Beautiful. Thanks for
Wonderful.
coming, boys.
That's right.
See you again next week.
See you next week.
Thank you for watching this Guzzlr video.
Hi, Mum. Hi.